Nigerian prince.
Todd, man, actually shut the fuck up. Right, this is the beginner's guide. I've wanted to play this game for fucking ages, and now I finally
No, you
get
haven't.
to.
You're lying.
I
That
do.
must. I've
I
never
can-
heard of it.
I can tell you when I wanted to fucking play it. Okay, shit. I hope I haven't just fucked up. What is it fucking viewing on? Is it a display capture or is it? Ah,
Eh.
it's display. Oh god.
What's that even? Oh, what have you done?
Properties. Take this to the beginner's guide. Okay, and now turn
Oh,
this
Jim, I
on.
don't like this. Help me.
Okay, there we go. This is. Okay, there we go. Now it has sound. We love it.
Oh, let's go.
Right. Let's just begin, I guess. Got nothing better to do. So let's go. Oh shit, I'm not streaming it to you guys, am I?
No.
Alright, here you go. Yeah, I'm accompanied by 2 people today. They're both idiots. Or 3 people. They're all idiots.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing the Beginner's Guide.
No problem.
My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and
I'll
2011.
open your stream. There we
Okay.
go.
We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda.
Coda.
Now, these games mean a lot
Coda?
to me.
What?
I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know
Yeah,
who
I'm
this
here.
human being really
You want to
is.
hear my jump scare?
And that's exactly what we're going to do
I didn't.
here.
Well,
So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just
The door
makes
don't
them and then
work.
immediately abandons them and they sit on his computer forever.
I'm like.
And I think he really understood
Not
this
really.
image of himself as a recluse.
Yeah,
at one
it's
point, he
open, but
jokingly
I've got
renamed
even
his
full screen
computer's
right now.
recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game.
Okay.
As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Okay. Whoa.
Warning. Whisper machine active. Shift to structure imminent.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
What?
I don't know.
You can click to fire the gun.
Security call reached. Hostile alien life form.
Playing Call of Duty.
Oh shit.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development.
You're playing Call of Duty, I'm
For
playing
instance, you have
RLCS
this
regional
gun,
finalist.
which you'd think would indicate
I'll
that there
see.
are supposed to
What's
be
going on?
monsters or enemies somewhere. But then
Everything's up.
clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
Shit. Let's go.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Why was that just a square of grey? What was that?
It's like the bottom of the map. The world map.
Nice.
What's going on?
Yeah, I don't even. Oh, okay, you do go that way. I was like, there's no waypoints or anything. I'm confused with what you got. Oh, there's a lot of doorways. Oh, no, it's amazing.
Apparently
Have fun.
the space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just
God.
gonna skip you on past it.
Oh no. Oh. Oh.
Thank you.
Okay then.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam.
So I have
It's
to
so
kill
much to
myself.
ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Guess I don't have much choice here, do I?
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
I scored against an RLCS regional finalist.
Okay. So this is now what happens in the real game.
So if you walk in it,
Whoa.
oh, you can't out the map. Oh, there you go. Easy maze.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it, like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Okay. Let's have a look at that. The past was behind her. You can
Yep,
only-
in this
only
game
go
you can
backwards.
only walk backwards.
Okay. Past was behind her.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
Why does the future keep changing? When she stops and looks, it becomes clearer. That if the future is always behind her, how will she find the strength to confront it?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Okay, still in November 2008.
Oh, what the?
I can't move anywhere
Oh,
else apart from forward.
Just go forwards.
I'm
Oh,
now
okay.
entering.
You're now entering.
Hell yeah.
You're entering what? Just darkness.
And that's it.
Okay.
Okay, the meaning of this
Oh,
game
okay.
won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Okay, okay.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games. I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early
Go up
games.
the stairs.
He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Am I slow?
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Do we press enter or do we full send it to the top in
know.
crawl mode? Todd looked at his camera as I said that. Alright, I'll press enter. Okay.
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little
Why is it
ideas
just-
for games.
What are they all set?
Coda would often tell
Drink
me that he didn't
rally
mind if people
and
thought of him
Stand
as
on
cold
that
or
next
distant.
staring
He said
at
that
a bed.
he knew
What
that he
is-
was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that.
On a boat, taking
It
orders
can
from
be
the
a very
captain.
slow climb to get
Always
there.
wrong. Game filled with chairs, except one chair is floating. Plays the camera. Okay. We skipped it. Ready, set, fish. Okay.
What on my computer? Oh,
Well, this is
why,
new for
why
Coda.
gotta
It's
play
an actual
games
puzzle.
out like that?
Go ahead and see if
Hell.
you can solve it.
Minecraft leather. What's going on? That's a dark room. I don't even know. What was that,
Don't forget
Todd?
that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again
Todd,
soon.
what was
What
that?
did
We're
he
gonna
just
see
say?
it a lot.
I don't know what he. I don't know. I don't know.
Todd, what did you just say?
You can't repeat it, Todd. Your Instagram said it.
What the hell?
Hello.
I am live streaming, Tyler.
Oh, that was close. Almost said
Oh.
something.
Oh shit. Oh
Yeah,
fuck.
no, everyone's just
So that seems to be it, right? You walk
Todd.
down a corridor, you
Oh,
solve the puzzle,
shit.
you get to the
You're
end.
getting
Simple
banned.
enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again, so that when you press enter, it'll remove
It wasn't
all of
even
the
once,
walls
Todd.
from
How many
this room.
times was it said?
Okay, so apparently when I press enter, it will remove all the walls.
Oh. Okay.
What the fuck?
What is this? Is it a big map or something?
How about
What's going
that?
on?
There was more to it than we had any way of
I
knowing.
can't think because
I actually find it funny that
Oh,
this
yeah.
game comes
Am
after
I
the
watching the
Stairs game,
backrooms,
since they
like-
essentially say the
Yeah,
opposite idea. So, in the Stairs
the-
game,
what
the
is
dull
this game?
exterior concealed
know.
a rich
It's a game.
Look through the wall, Sim.
I'm telling
I
you,
got
pal.
wall hacks.
I can see the walls.
Here we go.
interior. And then, in this
I
level,
meant
a dull
walls.
interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role
Okay,
as a
now see,
player.
I'm leaving now.
Enter
So
again.
if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
Nothing.
Okay, oh, we're in 2009 now.
Okay.
Back
Oh,
here.
let's go.
Aha! So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game.
Or
There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step
gonna
back
find the
and
moon
start to
tonight.
understand what exactly that
Get it.
bigger picture is.
it's actually quite cold. Quite nice.
That does sound pretty nice.
The great
Normally
and
it's
lovely
just like
descent.
melting.
Oh my eyes! It was so dark and now it's
so
bright. Oh my god!
Flashbang.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development. To make all of these games, Coda is using an
Walking
engine
down a
called
hill.
Source. Like all engines,
Gonna
Source has certain things that it
touch
does
you.
well, and it has certain things that it does poorly.
Gonna
One of the
like it.
things that it does very well is boxy
Oh,
linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in
Oh my
these
God.
large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
Does anyone have a door? I swear there is. Or is
The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Alright,
Skipped half the level.
bored now.
Huh?
I'm bored now. I'll see you tomorrow or something.
Yeah, right.
Ooh.
Boy. Okay. That's
So
weird.
it's something's happening. Oh, crap. That's it. You're dead.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go.
Hot.
If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that. This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it. And there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't. It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time. There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Bee hopping.
Peacock.
Okay.
Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
soon. What, is it here again? Maybe.
You're in the loop. You're in the loophole.
Oh no! The back room
And so we make
got
one
me.
last descent down to the final floor of the level.
Oh, maybe not.
It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them.
What is it?
And as we go,
See what's going on.
that idea will get clearer.
I hear it. No, I don't. That's Ethan's.
What's up with mine?
No, I was hearing like crickets or something. I don't know. I was so confused.
That's mine.
Clearer
That's mine.
and clearer.
Oh, it is nighttime. Would make sense.
April 2009. This game is connected to the internet. As you walk around, you can leave notes. Or you hear other players. Nice room. Oh.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this,
do you
but
mean
this
to?
game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're gonna see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them. Either way, to me they convey a sense of
Alright,
loneliness.
cool, you ready?
I see this
I'm
person who's filled with thoughts
Oh.
and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
I need my refund on my 2 hours. Come on, baby.
But it's ironic, isn't it? That in playing this game and
Whoa.
seeing how alone
Yeah,
Coda
actually,
often
sick.
felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
Okay. I feel like it's taken a very, like, dark turn.
Just a bit.
I don't know what your opinion is on this so far, Jamie, but...
Feels like a tutorial. Just telling
At
you
the end of this
stuff
level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And
like
here,
this. Yeah,
I'll tell you what I think
he's
the puzzle
explaining.
is. Each of
And
these
then-
games represents an idea that was
At
on
one point,
Coda's
he'll probably be
mind
like,
at the time that he was
Now
making.
you gotta survive, and then it
And the
just
puzzle
goes
is a
black
way
out.
of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one. In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on. And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between the spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
What the? What is happening? Just is that fax machines? What? Oh god. You're gonna get touched.
I feel like this guy is struggling with a lot of mental health issues.
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kinda just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
Okay. Damn. Good furniture. Can I go out the door? Oh, I can. I have such a lovely home. I hope this is mine anyway. I stole the house.
See, like, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Version 2, alright boys.
What is this? Proper?
Whoa.
Okay, so you got
Go in the
rectangles.
center of the room. How about let's put a giant hole in the ground? Oh. Huge picture of a horse. That's not what I wanted. I'm thinking a 10 by 12 recessed electric 6-inch soft LED ceiling lights with fluorescent trim. Yes, please. I'm pretty sure none of my choices make a difference.
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake. So, okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Hello, please walk forward.
Okay.
Okay. This guide will enable you to escape any prison environment. Follow the instructions carefully. Take care that you remember each step. First, click on this table.
Okay.
Okay. Return. Yeah.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape. Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. that particular mechanism of defense against yourself.
What the?
Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Okay. Is that a phone booth? Oh. Hello. Who is this?
Hello.
I'm you from after you escaped the prison.
Oh.
You and me. So you were trapped in this prison too?
It's a conversation.
Yeah.
And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows.
That's alright.
But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
It feels like being completely still. Do you feel any different? Sometimes I'm scared I'll get out and then things will be exactly the same as well. No, I'm really the same person now, so it's fine. Don't worry, it's not a bad thing. Wait, yeah, me. Did you get another version of you when you were trapped? What do you have to do? Feel afraid that nothing will ever change.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice? So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
Okay. Let's
To me,
follow the
this
path.
environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
I'm glad as all heck you showed up. Thought I might be having to clean this entire house all by myself. A right miserable that would have been. Everyone knows lonesome hounds. Lonesome
You'll notice that
hands
the
make
quality of
lousy
the art
hounds.
is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Well, this place is complete itself as far as I know. I'll finish it, but in the meantime, could you please clean the table? guess is about all that matters. Oh, that and a tidy couch. Would you straighten the pillows on the sofa out here? I feel compelled to share an incredibly cheesy personal insight. You okay with that? Make it especially cheesy. No, it's stupid, sorry. Never mind. Hey, these dishes need to be washed. Why don't you come here? Last I checked, the tub needed cleaning. How about you scrubbing that as best you can? No need to be perfect, we're just human. Are there still books scattered on the floor in the bedroom? If so, would you put them on the shelf?
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
Darling, let me tell you something. Whatever work you do, you have absolutely got to own it. Otherwise it owns you. So why don't we leave the task at hand and leave the future choice to future you?
I know that Coda really liked this
He
game.
wants to smooth out
Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time, just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
Do you mind tidying up a bit? Earlier when I said I had a really cheesy thought, I was going to say that it occurs to me that one's house is a lot like one's soul. You take care of it and it takes care of you. Don't know why I felt so weird about saying that. There's a bit of truth in it, no? Anyway. So,
Oh,
housekeeping. Let's keep doing this.
housekeeping.
Books. Can you please clean up the books? Thanks.
Where are the books?
Yeah.
Oh. Damn, you did that pretty quick. God damn.
I'm glad he made this.
Would you go
I'm glad he
over
found some
straight
peace.
up there? Folks, come to the cozy couch. Question.
But, of course, it can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
Windows were gone as well. Oh, this game is getting sad real quick. I know it was sad, but there's the lamppost. Like, I didn't know it'd get deep.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
Items you like.
This one gets a
There's
bit
only
goofy.
prices. Why did you come here today? Was it to improve your life? Was it to get a better job? Was it to make your relationships more meaningful? No. You came here to become perfect. This workshop is going to teach you how to be perfect. I want your friends, the people in your life, to look at you and think, wow, this person is a better human being than I am. Right now, who do you think about that way in your own life? Who do you know who is so well developed as a person that they make you feel disgusted for yourself, compared to whom you feel useless, selfish, ungrateful? I intend to make you into that person. Perfection is within your grasp. And the question is not how do we do it, but how do we do it effortlessly. This is easy. It is so easy.
About halfway through the game, the perspective shifts.
Being perfect is effortless. Whoa.
and you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
On the way to work, I told the elderly person to start I still love you, it just makes me feel cold to hear inside. Thank goodness all of you received me as you're torturing yourself trying to find the right solutions for your life, you're not doing it right. Do you understand that you won't be happy until you love? This is for you. Anyone will do some ecstasy after this. Holy shit, you guys, something is coming out back in the room. It's coming for you, it's going to destroy you.
I felt pretty hard for this one. I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days. This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Stage. Whoa. Can I break the game?
Probably. Parkour.
Oh, Jimmy, do you want to see this game? It's pretty good.
What? Hmm?
Tell me you join.
Why? What is it?
You join.
Whoa.
Holy shit. What the fuck is this game? Oh shit.
In this scene, you'll be playing as me.
Oh shit.
We are at a gathering of professionals.
I might have to watch Todd's stream.
Against this wall.
Oh my god, Todd, jump. No, aim in and no, jump and aim in. Can you do that? Look at the tits, Todd. Look at the tits. Like, aim and jump. They got the textures of bouncing. Oh shit! Oh. Oh god.
Jimmy's got booed.
I'm a horrible
Do
at
it
it.
again.
Oh, I thought this was a pretty good game. What is it? Just for a friend.
I like you.
This looks fun. What is it?
No, that's not what I said to her at all. You're completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted, and I was confident. For some reason, it was just that one moment I was confident. Maybe it's that you need a better feel of saying a lot of people around us. Maybe some props to what these codes, the buttons when you touch them, props to people nearby. Talk to her again. I bet you've learned to lean into the pain.
Rainbow Six Siege aim training, mate.
Jesus.
No,
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution, social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with his person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
June 2010. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Click to begin the game.
I'll close my eyes, I guess.
My eyes are closed. Right, don't right now, I'm gonna play this.
I was about to say, what's going on? Just hit music.
Okay, I can't see anything.
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
The only way to stop it is to speak something that is honest. I can't keep making...
Like I said, I was getting concerned.
Yeah, that's it.
First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
Gonna be okay. I bet this
His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
December 2010. We're getting close to the end. Where am I? Whoa. How do I get out of here? Is that a person? How lovely. It's been a long time since I've talked to anyone. What's wrong? Lost. When I tried to create, I feel empty. Oh no. What happened? Did something change? There was a machine that kept me going and it stopped. Wait, you're looking for a machine? I think I know where it is.
If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why?
There's
What is it for?
others. Interesting, let's see.
Because
Okay.
from my perspective at the time and just
What
what
is
I
it
knew
with
of
these
him,
Minecraft levers?
this was a result of how isolated he was. He was
Oh,
in his
wow.
own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really
shit.
showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
Oh.
Oh my god.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
That's what you'll see. You have to say that your work is fun and easy. You have to say that game development is simple and joyous, and that you love it 100% of the time.
Bro, what the fuck are you
Sure, making games is easy.
Yeah, we can make a game. Make one. There we go.
Why do I feel so awful when I said that? Just keep talking. When I make games, I feel completely energized.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me.
Great.
I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about, and I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me. I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten.
Prison again.
I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop. But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
7 months?
God damn.
Fucking hell. The machine. Guard. Ma'am, glad to see you've arrived safely. We've captured the machine. It's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation whenever you like. I intend to be quick. Very good. Just be warned that someone got depressed, so we might have a bit of attention on this one. Also, one more thing that you should know about the machine. It calls itself Coda. Yeah, it's just a little bit of press.
And of course, it's the machine.
Stopped. Stopped feeding us. It was only because of your creations that any of us could make it. So alone. Apologize for leaving me. No, nothing. Alright, then I'll apologize to the people.
Press.
My friends. I have a troubling revelation. The machine will not apologize to us. But this is not important. We are stronger than it thinks we are. Let us show it that we are not phased. Follow me. We will destroy everything the machine has created.
Shoot them all.
Oh,
What the? Did you just shoot a light? What the?
make sure your work dies here. Isn't that what you're scared of? Having to look at your precious creations, having to deal with yourself.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
What the?
No, not this place. I like this place. Whoa.
Oh.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
Whoa. I can't do anything. If I wait it out, do I have to shoot it?
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something... I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy.
I bet it didn't make him happy.
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made.
Jesus Christ.
So
okay.
let's take a look.
The last game that he ever made. The Tower. Alright. We're in.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
Fucking hell. I like the aesthetics. It does look really nice.
Yeah.
But I get his
This room
point.
actually has a maze in it. Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Oh, that's gonna be a wall. Oh. Oh, okay.
So you have to go through an invisible maze. Just to fucking...
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze? The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
151617. Oh shit. 1. Oh fuck's sake. 1 6 1 7. Take me. Lol, you thought. Okay.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges, and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that.
Wow, it actually was.
Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't. I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me.
Yeah, I get
But
how
he
that
stopped
feels.
and left. And it felt somehow like I had failed. Where did I screw up?
Where did you screw up? Dear Davey, thank you
I
for
am
your
the
interest
reason
in
that
my
you stopped
games.
making games, aren't I?
I need to ask you not to
It's
speak
because
to
of
me
what I
anymore.
did. I poisoned it for you. I don't think I ever
wonder at
told you this,
times whether you
but
think
when I
I'm
took your
making
work
these
and I was
games
showing
for
it to
you.
people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
You've so infected my personal space
And
that it's possible
the people
I did
who
begin to
played
plant
them,
solutions in my
they
work
treated me
somewhere
like
hidden between
I was
games.
important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
If there was an answer or a meaning, would it make you any happier? Would you stop taking my games and showing them to people against my wishes? Giving them something that is not yours to give, violating the one boundary that keeps me safe? Would you stop changing my games? Stop adding lampposts to them? So it's him that's... Jesus fucking Christ.
And then you stopped. And I didn't have anything left to show
Let them
people.
be what they are.
I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all.
When I'm around
Nothing.
you, I feel physically
Less than
ill.
nothing.
You desperately
What does
need
that
something,
mean?
and I cannot give it to you. I literally do not have it. Struggling to come up with new ideas is not making me depressed. Low points are just part of the process. The fact that you think I am frustrated or broken says more about you than about me. I realise that this doesn't make sense to you just yet, which is fine. You're not my problem to solve. But I do hope that one day it clicks, and that you make peace with this thing that you are wrestling.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
And when you finally see what I'm talking about, don't say anything.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Holy shit. Dude, this guy is struggling with really bad mental problems at the minute. Epilogue. Epilogue. Train station? Looks like Grand Central in London. Whatever the fuck it's called. Where my men go? This way? Doors are open. Yes, sir. There's a train station.
More,
Like, yeah.
more love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease. Solution.
There's no train tracks, mate. It's fucking
true.
crashed
What?
into the barrier.
Okay, how's that got there then?
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
That's how it should have always been from the start, though. You shouldn't have judged him for his work.
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
Damn.
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
Into the light we go, boys. Ooh. Ooh, long old pathway.
What now?
You tell me, man. I don't know. I'm not you.
I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for, and so I'm just gonna... Okay.
So is that it? He just destroyed himself because he destroyed his friend's work. I don't know why. I feel like I have to walk through these.
Yeah.
If I don't, I'm just...
You get teleported back or something.
What the fuck?
Try it.
Go.
Go to the side of it.
Do you know how much that just hurt to do that?
Yeah, that did kind of hurt. There's no way. Okay, nice.
Let's fucking go! Yeah, this is actually depressing. The fact that he destroyed himself.
Yeah. Oh god.
Destroying his friend's work. Wow. Let me out. Please. Keep going. stop. It does look very beautiful. Dude, this just fucking hurts though. Like, the fact that he thought he was friends with this guy, and he was trying to help him and thought he was depressed, and then all of a sudden it turns out he wasn't,
Yeah.
and he was the reason that he stopped.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking...
And it's like the music in this game as well. It's like,
Is that the beam?
I don't know.
I think it might...
Hey yo.
What the fuck? I'm not playing Minecraft, mate. I'll strike you down with my right testicle. Oh yeah, right. I need to have a sip of water before I walk into this. Yummy, scrummy, dummy-licious. Let's go into it. Oh no, I'm dead. I better start floating, don't I? Yeah. Where do I go? Whoa. Holy fucking shit.
Jesus. That does go far out. Damn.
Turn back.
Oh god.
Fuck off.
Turn back from
Imagine
this
that's Cody's real name.
cave.
For R dot.
You
Damn.
said, let me
And the music
prove
again.
that
Oh.
I'm brave. Let me keep
I actually know this song.
going.
Which is what's
Oh,
funny.
damn.
Yeah, it's actually a really good
I
song.
don't.
But the cave goes for miles and miles and miles. And you're so tired, but I know that you're strong. So turn back. Turn back.
4 an hour and 20 minutes. That was, I think, one of the most incredible games I've ever played.
Really? Damn.
Seriously, in that time span, to get
Yeah.
that across, that is
True.
This shit's powerful. If you want to play it, it's I think it's Steam only. I'm not too sure. $6.99.
Not
if
too
you're in
bad.
America, that's probably like £1 million. Or
Yeah, that's like-
$1,000.
That goes up.
Yeah. But no, that was really good. I really liked that, and yeah, that was really good. I have no complaints about that. I'm not gonna lie.
5 out of 5.
Yeah, it was good. I probably had no viewers throughout this whole thing, but I don't care because I'm happy it's on my channel. If you guys have enjoyed watching the Beginner's Guide, make sure to check it out. Obviously, go support it and stuff. I think it's a good game. You know, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next depressing live stream. Let's go.